Our Tennessee state standard for today, as it has been for the past several days, is to perform operations with numbers expressed in scientific notation, including problems where both decimal and scientific notation are used. Use scientific notation and choose units of appropriate size for measurements of very large or very small quantities. For example, use millimeters per year for C4 spreading. Interpret scientific notation that has been generated by technology. Your lesson objective: I can, or I am learning to, add and subtract numbers written in scientific notation. So you need to pause the video and write that down on your notes. All right, addition and subtraction in scientific notation. Step 1, you need to make the powers of 10 the same, and that's why we had that entire lesson yesterday about changing powers. So you need to write these steps down, and then step 2, you need to add or subtract the coefficients and keep the power of 10. All right, so let's look at what happens if we have the same exponent. Well, we just add 3.65, and I'm going to do it in vertical form. You can do it horizontally, but I think it makes it a little bit easier for students to see. Now, we can add a 0 here so that we'll have the same amount of decimal places. So we add, that gives us 5 and 8 and 4, and that would be 4.85 times 10, and we keep the exponent. Kind of like with fractions, you have to have a common denominator. Well, when you're adding and subtracting in scientific notation, you have to have a common exponent. So we keep that exponent of 7. Now, if you have a different exponent, then you're going to have to change one of the exponents. And this is actually a subtraction problem. And I always tell my students to save a step, always change the smaller exponent. So let's change this to 10 to the 7th. If I make my exponent 2 bigger, I need to make my number 2 smaller. So that would be 0.0128. So now I can subtract this. So I have 2.1 minus 0.0128. And I can fill in with zeros here. All right, so I know that this is going to be a 10, this will be a 9, this will be a 9, and this will be a 0. So 10 minus 8 is 2, 9 minus 2 is 7, 9 minus 1 is 8, 0 minus 0 is 0, and 2 minus 0 is 2. We changed our power of 10, so now all we have to do is keep that power of 10 times 10 to the 7th. All right, let's do some practice problems. So if we have the same exponent, all we have to do is add our coefficients. 3.2 plus 5.12 gives us 8.32 times 10, and we keep our exponent to the negative 2. I can move this out of the way so I can see the problem. All right, so we're going to change this one, the smaller exponent, to be bigger. So if we make it 2 bigger, we have to make this 2 smaller. So now I have 8.02 plus 0.034 to add. 2 and 3 is 5, 0, 8, 0. And we changed the power to 7, so this is a power of 7, or the power of 7. We changed the power of 7. Sorry. All right, now, if we subtract, our exponents are the same, then we just subtract. Add a 0 to the end, so that will be 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 8 minus 4 is 4. So that would be 4.38 times 10, and we keep the exponent of 7. We're going to change the smaller exponent. So we're going to change this one to negative 1, make it 1 bigger, which means we have to make that 1 smaller. So now we can just do minus 0.625. That would be 10. That would be a 5. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. That would be a 10. We'll make that a 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. And 6 minus 0 is 6. And we keep the power of negative 1 that we changed it to. So you'll need to pause the video and write those down. All right, some more examples. Same exponent. We're just going to add these two numbers. So that would give us 3 plus 1 is 4, 5 plus 2 is 7, and we keep the power of 4. Well, we're going to change the smaller one. Yeah, let's change the small one to make it larger. So if we make this one larger, we have to make that one smaller. So now I can add 3.3 plus 0.15 gives me 3.45 times 10 to the negative 1. So we keep that power. All right, subtraction. So the exponent is the same. So I'm just going to subtract 6.73. 5 minus 3 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 7 minus 6 is 1. We keep the power of negative 3. So we're going to make the smaller exponent bigger. So we're going to change the second one to 10 to the 7th. We made it one bigger, which means we're going to make that one smaller. So it would be 0.25. So we have 1.3 minus 0.25. We're going to add a 0 right there. That would be 10. That would be 2. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 1 minus 0 is 1 times 10. And we're keeping the 7th power that we changed to. All right, so I just want you to be thinking about this, and I'll have you work with a partner tomorrow. The population of New York State is approximately 1.96 times 10 to the 7th. The population of New York City alone is 8,245,000. How many people do not live in New York City? So think about how you'll solve that with a partner tomorrow. And that's the end of our lesson. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.